tell you guys something here, man. Let me tell you something. You know, Big Cass, he didn't want to sit down for rehearsals for Money in the Bank against Daniel Bryan. I told him he had to cut a great promo, man, but he didn't want to listen to me, and now we had to give him his termination papers. Now, don't you go to Chicago and go meet those elite guys over there, the Young Bucks and what's his name? Who? Omega. Okada. No, we can't have him go over there with those guys, man. Listen, the only thing I want you all in for, Big Cass, is the sale over at the Home Depot. That's what I want you to do, man. You know, maybe you can come back, but you gotta show me that you love the, wood.
Big Cass was fucking fired because he didn't want to sit down for rehearsals, and he gave some negative comments towards Mr. Kevin Dunn. That's the latest on Big Cass, man. Reason why Big Cass was released from the WWE. Now, although Big Cass wasn't the most popular WWE superstar, nobody would have expected him to be fired on Tuesday afternoon as WWE officially revealed that he has been released from his contract. One of the primary reasons that this came to a surprise to everybody was because fans thought that Big Cass had the look that Vince McMahon wanted in a WWE superstar. And to be brutally honest with you, the match at Backlash with Daniel Bryan was fucking terrible. But they actually bounced back nice. Big Cass bounced back nice at Money in the Bank, and he had himself, a 2-star match. Maybe 1.7 stars if we want to rate it on the Meltzer system, but it was much better than what we got at Backlash. But he had the look that Vince McMahon wanted. Now, he might not have been the best in-ring performer, far from it, or the most charismatic superstar, far from it, but being thrown into a feud against Daniel Bryan after the superstar shakeup does signal that there had to be some big plans for Big Cass. Now, as we know, one poor decision from him came from the promo that he did on the little midget Daniel Bryan, in which he supposedly went off script. He asked for permission to go above and beyond to try and get himself over. Vince McMahon and I'm sure Kevin Dunn and other WWE higher-ups told him, stick to the script, do what you're told, go in there, come back, end of story. He didn't listen. And he asked for permission, and he was told no, and he went and disobeyed his bosses regardless of what they said. Now, X-Pac, Sean Waltman, said, listen, the first mistake that Big Cass did in that situation was ask for permission. It looks double as worse if you ask Vince McMahon for something, he says no, and then you blatantly disobey him. If you went in there and did something that you were not supposed to do without asking, it wouldn't maybe have blown up into a big thing. But that was one of the opportunities that Big Cass had for himself, and he blew it. Sadly for him, he's not going to receive any opportunities to get out of the doghouse, and several sources have revealed why Big Cass has been fired from SmackDown Live. The story every fan is aware of is his questionable actions, like I said, with the small person dressed as Daniel Bryan during their build for their first match at Backlash. According to Pro Wrestling Sheet, the original plan was for Cass to hit him with a big boot, but Cass went to creative backstage and asked if he can beat him down some more to draw heat. The request was rejected before Cass sought out Vince McMahon with the same plan. When Vince said no, the wise decision would have been to just stick to the script. Instead, Cass went ahead and didn't listen to Vince McMahon, disobeyed him rather, and beat down the Bryan imposter, which landed him in the doghouse. This is why he was made to look weak against Daniel Bryan on a number of occasions, and perhaps why he lost on pay-per-views against him too. Now, the Twitter account WrestleVotes who is somewhat credible. So if you guys want to go follow them, WrestleVotes on Twitter, they have also revealed that Big Cass pissed someone off backstage to the extent where the decision was made to release him. The interesting thing about this, however, is that he apparently rubbed someone the wrong way in the hours leading up to SmackDown Live, and not before that, as WWE happily used him at Money in the Bank, as well as the SmackDown House Show on Monday. Now, Justin Barrasso of Sports Illustrated has since reported that personal conduct issues are to blame for his release. They're claiming that Big Cass was apparently drinking during the European tour, which took place a week before the Bryan impersonator incident, and allegedly had attitude issues as well, with Cass reportedly being intoxicated in public, one of the underlying reasons for his release. Now, Ryan Satin of Pro Wrestling Sheet also added that one incident which rubbed people the wrong way happened in private. However, on the WWE chauffeuring talent bus, the WWE bus chauffeuring talent from city to city, they're claiming that the bathroom lock was apparently broken on the bus, but Cass didn't realize this and assumed he was being pranked. He was stuck inside. Cass is reportedly known to be claustrophobic, and when a big, angry, claustrophobic Big Cass broke down the door, figuring that he was being pranked, he was embarrassed, and he caused a scene, and the door was completely off its hinges, and the talent that was on the bus with him, embarrassingly, had to use the bathroom without a door. However, it's also been claimed that WWE was reportedly impressed with Big Cass's performance at Money in the Bank in Chicago, but the issues were too much to save him from being released. Big Cass's firing from the WWE is certainly one of the biggest stories of the week because it came out of left field to everybody's surprise, because he was generally seen as a guy that would have been pushed for his size. Like I said, when I initially reported this on my SmackDown review, you guys can go check that out. A guy of his size being released is very uncanny of WWE. Now, Meltzer chimed in on this. And this was the reason for my opening skit. In this week's Wrestling Observer newsletter, it was reported that there were other incidents that led him to being released. It wasn't originally planned for him to lose twice via submission to Daniel Bryan on pay-per-view, but that became the plan after he defied Vince McMahon's orders during the segment with the little person. After Big Cass's first submission loss to Daniel Bryan, there was word that there was more punishment coming for him, but his firing was due to a series of things, and the little person incident was not the key incident that led to his firing. So either Big Cass did something on Tuesday that forced WWE's hand, or was a culmination of problems. There was an incident that blew up during rehearsal with Kevin Dunn, where Kevin Dunn asked him, what was going on with the promo. You got to do it this way. Let's rehearse it. So Dunn asked I think Dunn was the main reason why he got fired. There was so much heat coming from that incident with Kevin Dunn that Vince McMahon came to SmackDown Live beforehand and said Big Cass is being fired. He also went long on the time for that promo, and they cut it on their Hulu, and they cut it on YouTube. It went too long on live television. Vince McMahon hated his promo so much that he ended up firing a writer over it. So not only did Big Cass defy Kevin Dunn in the rehearsals, he didn't want to rehearse his promo. Vince McMahon hated the promo so much that whoever was in charge of that segment was fired over it. So like I said, either Big Cass did something on Tuesday that forced WWE's hand, or a culmination of problems left Vince McMahon no choice, as the Wrestling Observer has noted that Vince McMahon called an emergency meeting, like I said, at SmackDown, and this is when Big Cass was fired. With the release still relatively fresh, more information and updates are bound to be revealed at this point. But the reactions from fans show that they're not too concerned with how his departure will affect SmackDown Live. Big Cass is to blame for this, and he only has himself to look in the mirror at the end of the day. Do I feel bad that he lost his job? I don't want to see anybody lose their job, but when you read the dirt sheets and find out why this guy was fired, it's very difficult to sit here and feel sorry for someone who wants to work for the biggest wrestling company in the world, a publicly traded company, and everything that you do is going to be a mirror image of WWE. You either act like a professional superstar or you get the fuck out of the business or the company. Big Cass was drunk. Public intoxication. Do you know how bad of an image that is for WWE, especially overseas? You know, especially when you are a noticeable act. It's not like he's going to be going places and people aren't going to recognize him. Oh, look, it's Big Cass. And people see that you're drunk. What type of what type of impression is that on the company? If I'm a boss, I'm sitting you down. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm paying you, and this is how you're going to respect me and the company and the image of the company? And then not only did he disobey Vince McMahon, you know, we make fun of him on here. I don't fucking like him. I think he's a disease to the fucking company. But you're going to disobey Kevin Dunn? You disobey Kevin Dunn, the guy's going to go right to Vince McMahon. And if Kevin Dunn wants you fired, goodbye. Vince McMahon's going to fire you. How are you going to disobey these people? Like, I understand respectfully going to them and say, listen, can we rework this? And if the answer is no, the answer is no. The answer is no. You're not going to outwardly defy these people. Everybody is expendable. You are replaceable. They ain't losing anything with Big Cass. WWE's not going to lose sleep over losing Big Cass. The fans aren't going to lose sleep over losing Big Cass on SmackDown Live. The guy was worthless. The guy was genuinely worthless. Now, do I think he was a product of bad WWE creative? Of course. Everybody's a victim of bad WWE creative. What are you going to do about it? Do I think he should have been broken up from Enzo? Of course not. Enzo failed. Big Cass failed. They were two ships that sunk to the bottom of the ocean faster than I have ever seen in recent memory on WWE television. They failed. WWE put them in a position to fail. You either ride it out and maybe this passes, or, you know, you just do what Big Cass did. It looked like he intentionally wanted to get fucking fired because he was so fed up. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the fucking reason behind all this. He wanted to intentionally get fired because he was so pissed off. Maybe he didn't want to be broken up from it. I don't know. I don't know what the story is with him and Enzo. I don't know. People were telling me that him and Enzo had such a bad argument. They were just, you know, their friendship was severed, that they couldn't team them anymore, and that's why they broke up. Who knows? Nobody knows. But the reason for this guy's firing has nothing to do with anything but him. Public intoxication, defying Vince McMahon, and then defying Kevin Dunn? No wonder the guy is fucking terminated. Who cares about Big Cass at this point? Who cares? Are you going to miss him on SmackDown Live? Nobody is going to realize he is missing by the end of the month. He is unimportant. Do I feel bad that he has no job right now? You know, maybe we shouldn't feel bad. There'll be somebody that picks him up. There'll be somebody that picks him up. Maybe he shows up in the Impact Zone in 90 days. Who the fuck knows? Impact is known for taking WWE, scraps. Who knows what happens to him? Now, I mistakenly, on SmackDown Review, mentioned that he was 26 years old. Apparently, he's older than I initially thought. I thought he was 26. Apparently, he's 30, 31 years old. Yeah, but he still has a lot of years left in him. If he wants to continue in this business, and he wants to get better at what he does, then he's going to go away for a couple of years, and he's going to hone his craft, he's going to get better, he's going to learn the mistakes that he made, and he's not going to make them again. Maybe WWE looks at him. The door is never closed in WWE. The door may be closed, but it's not locked. That's a direct quote from Justin LaBar. The door may be closed, but it's never locked. If Brett, if Warrior, if Hogan can come back, Big Cass can certainly come back, man. We've seen stranger things happen in WWE. If this guy is still in love with the business and wants to wrestle for a Ring of Honor or an Impact or go to Japan, and he hones his craft, WWE, I'm sure, will definitely give him a second look when the time is right. You know, time heals all wounds, especially in the wrestling industry. They always come back around. This is why I think CM Punk eventually will come back. You know, he will eventually be back. Guys like Cass could eventually be back. We don't know. We don't know. But do I feel sorry for him after reading this? I don't know if any of us should feel sorry for him. We may dislike these people. We may dislike WWE for the shit that they do on television, for making us feel stupid. We may dislike Vince McMahon for his one-sided fucking senile mind. We may dislike Kevin Dunn because he's got fucking big teeth and he doesn't know any better. But these are his bosses. If you're going to outwardly defy these people in a nasty way, it's not going to look good on you. You know, I also read that he was in a huge argument with Sami Zayn over political issues because Big Cass is known to be a huge Donald Trump supporter. And he was arguing with Sami Zayn over politics. He rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. I mean, you're bringing politics into the workplace. Shut your fucking mouth on that. I know everybody has their stance on politics, but to outwardly just come out and express yourself when you know the state of the world right now, come on, man, you're definitely going to rub people the wrong way. The guys seem to just add up mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake, and you know Sami Zayn is involved with the big Syrian thing that's going on. He's very involved, you know, in his home country and what's happening there, and Big Cass is arguing with Sami Zayn over issues over there? Come on, dude. You're separating everybody from your circle when you're doing that. I don't think I feel sorry for Big Cass at this point, man. But like I said, you know, the door may be closed, but there's always, the door always is cracked open. Maybe he'll come back, maybe he won't, but we've seen stranger things happen in the world of WWE, so I'm not closing the door on Big Cass coming back at all. Let me know what you guys think about that. I wanted to get that out there because I really don't want to talk about this anymore. He was so unimportant to television that everybody's making a big deal. Oh, Big Cass is gone. Who cares? Is he going to affect your life? Is he going to affect SmackDown Live and your viewing habits on Tuesday? Of course not. That brand is stacked. Big Cass, after this Daniel Bryan feud, what was he going to do? Where was he going to fit? Nowhere. They cut fat. They gave his salary to fucking Ellsworth. What do you think they did? Moving on here, man. Another one of these fucking stories. Another one of these stories that is just hilarious. Dana Brooke is frustrated with her position in WWE. Based on what we have been seeing via her social media, it looks like Dana Brooke is frustrated with her lack of in-ring time. Really now? I'm frustrated when she is in-ring. So it goes both ways, Miss Brooke. You're frustrated by not being in the ring. I'm frustrated, and everybody is frustrated when we see you in it. During Monday Night Raw, she tweeted about her lack of in-ring time. Brooke said, I just want an opportunity to wrestle. I miss it. I don't miss it. Hashtag Raw, hashtag WWE, and she even added WWE on Twitter. The tweet was followed up by an Instagram post that says, quote, some things in life are worth fighting for, others are out of your hands, and most are too good to be true. Keep pushing through, know your worth, and never settle. Hashtag Raw, hashtag WWE, hashtag Dana Brooke, hashtag push through, hashtag FitFam, hashtag inspiration. She also tweeted about fan comments that included the hashtag Give Dana a Push. In recent months, Brooke has been used primarily as part of Titus Catering and his stable, and she has only wrestled a handful of matches at live events. Her last series of singles matches were quick squash matches against Asuka back in January. At this point, it doesn't look like creative has much for her. Good. Based on storylines, it looks like the top Raw women's matches at SummerSlam will be Sasha Banks versus Bayley and Ronda Rousey challenging Alexa Bliss for the Raw Women's Championship. If Brooke is hoping to get into a dedicated storyline where she is featured as a singles performer, she may have to wait a few months. The roster is so loaded right now that several wrestlers are on the sidelines. This is why I said that there should be some type of talent exchange for NXT. You ain't using the Revival. You ain't using Dana Brooke. You know, believe it or not, when Dana Brooke was saddled with Emma down in NXT, she wasn't all that bad. She wasn't as cringe as she is now. She was actually decent at what she did. Maybe she should go back down to NXT, get in the Performance Center, hone your craft, work on what you need to work on, and I'd love to see some type of talent exchange. You know, Triple H is talking about having John Cena in NXT. You know, the talk of John Cena in NXT is accelerating. because he mentioned something about the Velveteen Dream. I would not be surprised to see NXT get John Cena for a night and him go one-on-one with Velveteen Dream and put him over. You know? I think that's great. But Dana Brooke in a WWE ring on Raw, the show is bad enough. Why are you going to outwardly make it worse? A talent exchange with NXT is the best thing for these guys. Revival, Dana Brooke, Ty Dillinger, you know, Fandango, and Tyler Breeze. Talent exchange. Can you imagine Revival versus Undisputed? Or Revival versus War Raiders? I went back and watched Revival versus DIY at NXT TakeOver Toronto. How could you have these guys on your roster and not utilize guys of that fucking nature, of that type of talent? What the fuck are you doing? Oh, JD, they're generic. They have no look. What are you fucking kidding me? They have no charisma. What are you, blind? Go back and watch that fucking match. They have no fucking charisma. Tag team wrestling's dead. I dare anyone to tell me tag team wrestling is dead. Go back and watch TakeOver in Chicago with Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch. Who? Yeah, exactly. Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch against the Undisputed Era. And tell me that wasn't the best tag team match outside of the Young Bucks and the Golden Lovers this year. There's no way you can tell me that tag team match wouldn't be epic on a WWE pay-per-view. That one match outperformed almost every match at Money in the Bank. Tag team wrestling is not dead. I would love for the Revival to be back in NXT. You know? These guys are being wasted. Dana Brooke ain't being wasted. She is a waste. I don't want to see her in the ring, but if she wants to wrestle, talent exchange. Why employ these people if you're not going to use them? Cut the fat. I wouldn't be surprised if she gets future endeavored this year. WWE officially blocks Ring of Honor from Madison Square Garden. Sucks to be Ring of Honor, huh? Sucks to be a fan of Ring of Honor. Pretty sure you hate WWE even more so now. Ring of Honor has lost their date for Madison Square Garden. Last week, Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter reported that WWE was doing everything to block Ring of Honor from running there. The belief was that Ring of Honor would have run on the night before WrestleMania in New York City for Supercard of Honor. Ring of Honor COO Joe Koff confirmed yesterday to PW Insider that there was a deal with Madison Square Garden, but the venue said that they were backing out after communication with WWE. Papa McMahon said no. Koff noted that lawyers would be getting involved and hopefully a resolution could be reached so we can bring the kind of energy and excitement that Ring of Honor gives everyone and our partner, New Japan, to a bigger audience and to bigger arenas and to the fans of New York City. As previously noted here, MSG has been more open to allowing more wrestling promotions to run in their venue because WWE does not run there as much as they used to due to production costs. WCW tried to run, Eric Bischoff tried to run WCW in the 90s, but were shut out because WWE had a lock on the venue. At this point, there's no word on what MSG is getting in return from WWE in exchange for canceling Ring of Honor's date. All of the plans for WrestleMania weekend next year will be taking place at the Barclays Center. AAA has a date tentatively booked for September, but everybody is assuming that that show will not take place there either. Papa McMahon doesn't want MSG in bed with another boo. I don't know what's going on, man. You know, Supercard of Honor would have looked pretty damn fucking good in MSG, man. MSG holds about 19,000 people. I doubt Ring of Honor could have sold that out, but I guarantee you put New Japan in there, headlined by Kenny Omega, IWGP Heavyweight Championship match, and that type of talent there, I think they'd sell that out. I honestly think I would give New Japan the benefit of the doubt of selling out Madison Square Garden. Would have been great for everybody in Ring of Honor. Man. It would have been great for the wrestling industry to have Supercard of Honor that weekend in MSG in the center of town. You know, I don't know what WWE is getting in return for just doing what they did here. You know, MSG, you know, they want to make money. They want to be open to it. McMahon clearly is afraid of something. He just wants to close off every other promotion from his. He wants to, you know, come off as if, you know, he doesn't know what's going on. Vince McMahon knows more than what's going on, man. You know, he knows of New Japan. He knows of Ring of Honor. You know, he is not outwardly afraid, but he doesn't want to take the chance with the momentum that Ring of Honor has right now. They're looking great. especially New Japan. He doesn't want New Japan to gain a foothold in North America. Vince McMahon's doing what a businessman would do. Vince McMahon is thinking like a businessman. The wrestling fans might not see it. The wrestling fans might think, oh, Vince McMahon's a dick. But he's thinking as a businessman. He does not want anybody imposing on his business. Do I blame him for that? No. Is it a shit move? To the fans, yeah, but you ain't running a business. You're not running a business. You are going to shut out any competition that you see aiming for WWE. And that's what Vince McMahon did. Do I blame him? No. Do I think it's a dick move? Yeah. What are you going to do? Ring of Honor's going to have to find a new venue for Supercard of Honor, whether that's somewhere in New Jersey. They can't do anything in Brooklyn. What are you going to do? Hammerstein Ballroom? Supercard of Honor? Normally they're drawing 6, 7, 8,000 people for Supercard of Honor WrestleMania weekend. Hammerstein Ballroom, what's the maximum at Hammerstein Ballroom? 2,500? 3,000 maybe? You ain't getting that. They want to do something great and big for WrestleMania weekend. The whole fucking wrestling world's going to be in New York City next year in April during that weekend. What are they going to do? It's going to be interesting to see. I'll find out for you guys, and as soon as I do, I will let you guys know right here on Off the Script. Finally, guys, for this extra today, Hulk Hogan offers to be a manager for the Velveteen Dream. WWE Hall of Famer Hulk Hogan has had one heck of a career, and now he may want to be a manager for one of the upcoming stars in the company. There's no doubt that one of the biggest names that WWE and WWE Chairman Vince McMahon has ever created is Hulk Hogan. He has been a household name, still a household name in the world of professional wrestling. He has wrestled with some of the biggest names in the history of pro wrestling, and although he has had a long-lasting relationship with the company, there have been some hiccups along the way between the two sides throughout the years. Clearly, obviously, the biggest one was when he joined World Championship Wrestling in the 90s, worked for TNA for a couple of years, became the biggest heel in the business, a part of the biggest stable in the history of this sport with the NWO. His latest run with the company was a short one. On February 24, 2014 on Raw, Hogan made his first WWE in-ring appearance since December 2007 to hype the launch of the WWE Network. At WrestleMania 30 in March, Hogan served as a host to come out to start the show and hype up the crowd. Steve Austin and The Rock ended up coming out to have a memorable segment with him. Obviously, we all heard of the racial slurs that Hulk Hogan was caught saying. He was blackmailed with a sex tape. He was not aware that he was being recorded. Shit was said on there. He sued the publication, Gawker, for every dime that they had, put them out of business, and now he's trying to work his way back into the good graces of the people and with the WWE because ultimately he wants to come back. So we had Velveteen Dream come out at TakeOver in Chicago, dressed as a Hulk Hogan cosplay. He had the boa, he had the bandana, he had the shirt, and he had tights that resembled what I thought was a take on Ricochet's Lucha Underground character, Prince Puma. But at first glance, I didn't realize it because I just seen the Hulk Hogan garb, and I figured it was just red and yellow, and it had to do something with his Hulk Hogan cosplay. But people took to this, and they tweeted Hulk Hogan this. Now, he seen this, and Hogan pitched an idea to be a manager for the Velveteen Dream. He said, yo, when Velveteen Mania hires me as his manager, then we will have all the gold. Hollywood style, brother. Hollywood Hogan for life. So it's very well documented that WWE officials are currently having talks about a Hogan return. Time will tell whether or not WWE brings him back to the company. But is it time for Hogan to come back? Would you want to see Hogan back in some capacity to the WWE, whether on the main roster or with NXT? It would be very interesting in Patrick Clark's situation because when WWE had that, I don't know what it was called. What was it, Tough Enough? And Hogan was like a guest judge, or he was part of the panel. I think it was with Bryan and Paige. Correct me if I'm wrong. Patrick Clark was verbally, I would say, taught, or he was verbally yelled at by Hogan about some of his promo work that they had during the competition. He wanted to see more from Patrick Clark. So Hogan was verbally just ripping into Patrick Clark, then it would be quite the, I guess, the 180 to come back around here and have Hulk Hogan manage Patrick Clark, Velveteen Dream, now that he is not that same person whatsoever. It would be very interesting to see, if he did something like this and then he had Hulk Hogan come out as like a guest manager or, an ally in his corner, man. It's pretty interesting to think about. A lot of these older guys, they want to get in and around the young guys at the Performance Center because there's just so much talent. Shawn Michaels is teaching Velveteen Dream. Dream is actually a pet project of Shawn Michaels right now. So he's got the world by the balls right now. He's being taught by Shawn Michaels. He's got Hulk Hogan wanting to manage him. He's getting tutelage from Matt Bloom and William Regal and Triple H. I mean, Velveteen Dream could be on top of the fucking wrestling world in 5 years. Who the fuck knows? We talked about this on my NXT video yesterday. There are thoughts about bringing him to the main roster. He was on the list of people to be brought up after WrestleMania. They didn't do it yet because they realized that he's only 22. And I mentioned in my video yesterday, he is nowhere even near ready. Why would you do that to him? The rosters are so full right now with people fighting for spots on a 2-hour SmackDown Live. We haven't seen Almas in 2 weeks. We haven't seen AOP in almost 2 months. The Revival is barely on television. There's nobody. There's so many guys on these rosters that aren't getting television time. You're going to bring the Dream and then act like the Dream that is so, must see in NXT, and you're going to waste them away on the main roster? Move him up when there's time, when he's ready, when there's spots for him, when there's a plan for him. He's 22. What are you going to bring him up for? I mentioned on my video, it's like marinating a steak for fucking 20 minutes and then popping it on the grill. He ain't fucking ready yet. Leave that steak in the refrigerator for 2-3 days. Let that flavor sink into the steak. Then pop it on the grill and then open up a cold fucking Guinness and you're ready to go. I don't want to see Dream or anybody on NXT television right now on the main roster. God forbid. Look what's happening to the people that they just brought up. Do you trust them? I wouldn't trust WWE with any NXT talent. They despise NXT. Some conspiracy. I believe WWE main roster does not want to even associate with NXT. They'll take, but they won't acknowledge. Which we'll talk about on Off the Script, because I got news on Sanity and WWE not mentioning NXT during Sanity's debut on SmackDown Live this week. Fucking bullshit. That is your Off the Script Extra, man. Thank you guys so much for everything. If you enjoyed the video, hit that thumbs up. Follow me on social media, Twitter, @JDFROMNY206. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for notifications. If you guys want to support the podcast through Patreon, always there for you guys to show your appreciation, man. Patreon.com/JDFROMNY206. And if you missed anything this week, Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and we got Off the Script tomorrow with episode 227. I'll see you guys tomorrow for episode 227. Until then, enjoy your nights, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for Off the Script. I'll talk to you later.